Marissa Alexander is a woman in Jacksonville, Florida, who is facing 20 years in prison because of the fact that she shot a gun to the ceiling when her husband was attempting to beat her up, okay? She got into a physical altercation with her husband. She was trying to run away from him, and in the process of trying to run away from him, she trapped herself in the garage. She tried to get out of the garage, but the door got stuck. So she grabbed her gun and shot it at the ceiling to basically scare him off, and it worked. However, she was later arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, we have a local news report on this story. Actually, I'm sorry, it's a CNN report on this story. It gives more detail into it. Let's watch, and I'll share more on what's going on.
He managed to get the door open, and that's when he strangled me. He put his hands around my neck.
Alexander got away from her husband and then made a fateful decision. She grabbed her gun she kept in this garage.
He saw my weapon at my side, and when he saw it, he was even more upset, and that's when he threatened to kill me.
But how is he going to kill you if you're the one with the gun?
I agree. I thought it was crazy, too.
But why didn't you run out the door at that point?
There was no other way to get out the door. He was right there threatening to kill me.
But what if you would have gone around him to go out the door? Your life would have been easier today if you did that.
Yeah, but the law states I don't have to. I believe when he threatened to kill me, that's what he was going to do. That's exactly what he intended to do. And had I not discharged my weapon at that point, I would not be here. This is my life I'm fighting for. This is my life. And it's my life, and it's not entertainment. It is my life.
You know what's striking to me? Florida has a stand your ground law, right?
They do.
So
it apparently only protects white people.
Apparently, and men, because here's a woman who did not kill or hurt or attempt to kill or hurt anybody to defend herself physically, and she's in jail giving an interview in a prison uniform. And people who, not just Zimmerman, but other people who have killed somebody and gone out of their way to kill somebody under stand your ground have gone free. What's up with that?
I guess the only thing that Alexander didn't do correctly was shoot at him. Because if she actually killed him, she might have been protected by stand your ground.
Right.
But she shot
and her
the
husband,
ceiling.
if he's also African American, then she killed a black person. That's also apparently a requirement under stand your ground as well. But look, it's insane and it's cruel, and hopefully they'll see the light of day and let this woman go.
Now, I want to give you guys some more detail into what's happening with this story. So in Florida, if you are not protected under stand your ground and you are pulling a gun during a crime, that will give you a mandatory 10-year sentence. If you fire a gun during the commission of a crime, that's a mandatory 20-year sentence. Shooting and killing another person during a crime is a mandatory sentence of 25 to life.
But where's the crime?
Now, that's the part
Where's
of the story.
underlying crime?
That's the part of the story that makes absolutely no sense. So she was offered a plea deal by the prosecutors, and she denied that plea deal. If she had taken it, she would have been sentenced to 3 years in prison.
No.
Okay, so she said, no, I'm not going to take it because I believe that I am protected under stand your ground. What ended up happening is the jury found her guilty. Okay, so she faces 20 years in mandatory 20-year sentence in prison. However, her attorney asked for a retrial. This morning, the judge denied that. So she will not be getting a retrial, and she will serve 20 years in prison because of this. Now, the reason why the judge said that she's not getting a retrial is because 4 months after this incident, after the shooting, she returned to his home to tell him that she wanted a divorce. She wanted to break up with him. That later ended in a physical altercation, and she was charged with domestic battery.
Separate case, separate incident.
It is a separate case. It is a separate incident. However, the judge is not considering that. He had said in the deposition that he has a history of beating women up. He's like,
he, the husband.
Yes, the husband. He's like, I've had 5 baby mamas, and I'm quoting him, okay? And I'm sorry, I have his exact quote, so let me read it to you guys. He says, if my kids weren't there, I knew I probably would have tried to take the gun from her. If my kids wouldn't have been there, I probably would have put my hand on her. I've got 5 baby mamas, and I put my hands on every last one of them except for one. So that was in the original deposition. This is just such a sad story. And that whole altercation happened 9 days after she gave birth to their kid.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this story, but thankfully it's getting a lot of media attention. There are people who are already rallying in support of her. They're asking, her attorney is asking for another retrial. He is appealing the judge's decision. So we'll see what happens. But it's a really depressing story, especially when you consider someone like George Zimmerman was protected under Stand Your Ground, wasn't even arrested for a long period of time after he shot and killed Trayvon Martin. But in this case, this woman is now locked behind bars. And this incident happened in August of 2010. So it's just incredible.
Where do you go with that, except that this, what part of Florida was this again?
This is in Jacksonville.
Yeah, okay, because once you get out of that southern Miami-Dade area, Florida is deep south. Mm-hmm. That's the thing people don't realize. You drive around Florida, you're in the deep south. And that's what she's up against. If you're not in Orlando, if you're not in that Miami-Dade, you are south. And that's what we're seeing here is Southern justice.